Be'ezus Hashem Yisbarach, we will continue where we're learning the holy letters of Balatanya, letter number 13. The Shiv, the Schus, Refuah Shalema, for Hindu Bas Taberachel. We are learning this holy letter that deals with the Pasuk in Tehillim, Ma'arav Tuvcha Asher Tafanta L'Reyecha, which is the vast, awesome goodness and kindness that Hashem put away for those that fear Him, for those that are in awe of Him. With the Holy Balatanya, as He explained that there's two types of people in this world. With this two types of people, where He breaks up the world into introverts and extroverts, people that are more daytime sociable, and people that are more nighttime. People are more internal, but in a general aspect is the fundamental difference between masculine and feminine, between what we call giving or taking. This holy letter, we spent an enormous amount of time going into the secret of the mystery of creation, to understand why Hashem created the world in 6 days, and what is the essence of the 6 days, and how the 6 days is the 6,000 years, and how 6,000 years in our own little life is the 60 creative years that a person has. What is he creating in his life? What's he doing? And ultimately speaking, we have gone deep into this from different angles. When we say angles, person who's standing wherever you're standing in the world, and you're looking at everybody around you, there's always 6 angles. There's north, west, east, and south, and there's up and down. A person wants to know what's true. Is my way of avodas Hashem true, or is the other person's way? The person wants to know which part of my life, which day of my life, which moment of my life, where is the peak, what is the moment of my life? What is the mission of my life? What's the purpose of my life? And why do we have that question at all? We have that question because of the 6 days of creation. The 6 days of creation is the idea that there's 6,000 years, and then there's Shavas v'Yinofash, Yom Shekulei Shabbos. The 6,000 years are an enormous amount of time. And this enormous amount of time is to reflect the Kavod Hashem, it's to reflect the light of Hashem, the Sfiros, the names of Hashem. And you say, which name of Hashem is real? Which name is the Iker? That's like looking at your life and being at this moment right now and saying, which angle is my right real, my left real, my up, my down, my forward, or my backward? You will move in all different directions. And these directions are just angles, but it's actually you who must bring all of those directions together. You must realize that it's only now that we live. It's only this moment now. It's only now that we paint. It's only now that we bring all angles into unity. And there's this tremendous idea of understanding that We are mirroring everything. We are bringing every moment is the ability to recreate life, to recreate the new, to take everything from the past, make it come alive today means to bring a deeper light into it. And in this lies the secret of creation. It's not that 6,000 years is a period of a vast amount of time, but that any moment in the 6,000 years is the only moment that ever was. And that is the miracle of creation. The miracle of creation is that in 6,000 years, God created every moment can be the only moment. Every moment is a brand new moment. In every moment, the entire opportunity of life is brand new. If a person is totally free from the past, totally free from the idea of angles, an angle of the past, an angle of the future, an angle of positive and negative. A person is totally free from all these angles. He can bring all these angles together. And this is the tremendous revolution that he wants to give with this letter. It's a tremendous revolution. Because when we understand life in this mode, then we have a deep understanding of the purpose of life. There are moments that we are depressed. There are moments that we are happy. There are moments that are nighttime. There are moments that are daytime. There are moments when we feel bored. There are moments of choil, of complete emptiness, of complete darkness. And there are moments of complete clarity. And the idea, what he's going to lay down in this parak is that there's something called inter-inclusion. There's something called iskalalus. There's something called a mixture, an inter-inclusive entanglement, which is one of the deep mysteries of life, because the question of life is, one of the questions is it better to be a giver or a taker? This is one of the big questions in life. An introvert or an extrovert, which is the premise of this letter. An extrovert means somebody who's living life. Everything is daytime. And an introvert means somebody who's living, and his daytime, he doesn't get lit up, he doesn't get ignited by the daytime. It's only by the nighttime. And what is the difference between day and night? Is the difference between seeing and hearing. By nighttime, you cannot see, you only hear. When you hear, you're forced to go deep within, deep within. There's no vision, there's no clarity. Only on the outside is there vision, only on the outside is there clarity. But when there's clarity, the clarity is only from the outside. And this is a tremendous question. Which is the purpose of life to see? Or is the purpose of life to be? You understand the difference? When we say kol atzmoisai tamarna, when a person says b'chol mo'idecha, when a person says my whole being, I love God, I love you with everything, is that vastly greater than seeing? The tremendous revelation of Kriyas Yamsuf, the tremendous idea of seeing the light, to have tremendous clarity. Is that the purpose of life? Or is the purpose to experience God in the deepest way, from deep within my nighttime? That means from deep within my tzimtzum, deep within my consciousness. You see, vision is only one angle of life, to see, to be enlightened, to be transported to a complete clarity, to have knowledge, insight. It's important. But is it the ultimate? What the deep revelation that he's going to reveal in this letter is, many times a teacher thinks that he possesses the light, but in fact, without his student, he can't understand himself. He only has the chokhmah. The chokhmah is not bina, the chokhmah is not understood. With his right side, with his giving side, with his visual side, with his daytime side, the daytime is never comprehended in the nighttime. The daytime is never fully comprehended. When you have such vision that it overwhelms you, can you perceive God with your hearing? Can you perceive God with your heart? Can you perceive God with your whole essence? And this is the tremendous lesson of this letter. Because when we say, Marav tuvcha, how vast, how good is your kindness that you put away from those that fear you. He's going to focus on the feminine energy, on the energy of the fear, the energy of the one who doesn't know, the one who's experiencing God from internal. And even though he's going to talk about the highest levels of introvertism, even though he's going to talk about the highest levels of receiving, there's a giver and there's a receiver. And we all the time think that the purpose of life is to be in a giving state. But in this letter, he's going to explain that the awesome gift of being in a receiving state, the awesome gift when we can give from being in a receiving state, is the deepest form of giving that can possibly be. And over here we see something tremendously magical. What was the most tremendous revelation of Moshe Rabbeinu? What was the difference between Moshe and Korach? Now as Gimmel Tammuz, we see the difference between Moshe and Korach. Korach felt inferior to Moshe. He felt that everybody was chosen above him, and he saw with Ruach HaKodesh that his grandchild would be Shmuel, and he saw that he had wealth, and he saw that he came from he had great grandparents. Korach wanted to be great, he wanted to be a giant. And Moshe Rabbeinu, we see that Moshe Rabbeinu was chosen by God, but on the other hand, we have hundreds of midrashim, hundreds of Moshe feels inferior, he feels all the time. Came Rabbi Akiva, he sees Rabbi Akiva as doirish, and he felt insignificant. Comes the Machzah Shekel, Hashem, Moshe tells Hashem, what am I going to be remembered by? If we see that Moshe Rabbeinu feels inferior, if Moshe feels inferior, he feels less than. And Moshe was Onav Mikol Adam, Moshe was Shechina Medaberes B'toch Groine, Moshe was Lekam Navi Kem Moshe. If Moshe felt less than, then shouldn't we understand Korach? Shouldn't we understand Korach? And how are they so different? And the fundamental difference between Korach and Moshe is that Korach could have never been Melamed Zchus on Moshe, but Moshe was Melamed Zchus on Korach. That's the fundamental difference. The fundamental difference is that Korach felt inferior because he wanted kingship. But Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe also felt inferior. This is one of the deepest things. Why did Moshe feel inferior? Because Moshe felt all the time that whatever was given to me was given as a gift. Why did Moshe run to Korach? Why did he want to save Dasan and Avira? Why did Moshe Rabbeinu want to say the Dor of the Meraglim. Why did he say Machini no Mesifrecha? Why did Moshe Rabbeinu end up hitting the rock in today's Chitas? Why? Because Moshe Oyev Yisrael Hoya. What does it mean he loved the Jewish nation? Why did he end up dying in the Midbar? Because all the time, Onav Mikol Adam, he was the most humble, meaning one thing. All the time, Moshe Rabbeinu turned to Hashem and he said, what did I do for anything that I had? I was given a gift. And the only nechama that Moshe Rabbeinu ever had was that he could find the Talmud, that he could find another student that he could share with. That's one thing he wasn't given. That's one area where he could be creative. That's one area where he felt significant, where he felt that he met his purpose in the world. Many people want to understand what's the essence of Gimmel Tammuz. The essence of Gimmel Tammuz is today's Chitas, Moshe hitting the rock. You think Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to hit the rock? Moshe wanted to talk to the rock and give from its waters. Talking to the rock and giving from its waters means daytime, means the sun. It means you give. Everything in life is easy. There's no struggles. You lift up your hands, you win wars. You're in a state of complete miracles. There's no nighttime. There's no negative. We're just in a space of giving all the time. Moshe was just a giver. But the Jewish people were not on this. They were not on his level. Koirach, the fact that they could be koirach, the fact in Parshas Baloiska they wanted meat, the fact that the Jewish people, Dosan Avirim, the fact that they were never on that level. Moshe had two options. He could speak to the water, speak to the rock, and everything goes easy, and then he goes into the land. And if Moshe goes into the land, Mashiach comes. Because Moshe is a oil, Moshe is a light, Moshe is Pnei Moshe k'pnei Shemesh. Shechina mataberes b'terech grunir. Kol ma shero Kadosh Baruch Hu Moshe chaya b'maaseh. Everything that Moshe saw with his eyes when he came to Aschanan, he was poil, a light into the land with his eyes. Maisi yodav shel Moshe nitzki, whatever he touched was nitzki. When he was born, he filled up his house full of light. Shechina means through his gutter and through his throat was the Shechin. Moshe Ishalikim, Minamayim Ishasiyu, he came from the water. Moshe was a kvat peh because he had Yirei law, because he was so thunderstruck by the light of God. Moshe was the most unbelievable revelation of God. And that was visual. That was Mederech Mamela. That was Matnas Chinam. That was Tisha Kavim Shechavera. Yeshua was the moon. Adam Reitz V'Kav Shaloi. Nahama de Ksufa. Bread of shame. It's where there's bread of shame, which is Moshe Rabbeinu, which everything we say shame, because everything's given to you, everything's easy. Or there's Lamaisi Yadech HaTichsei. There's a deep struggle, a tremendous work. Hearing. You have to struggle through life. One's the daytime, one's the nighttime. The sun is Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe wants to talk to the rock, and then you drink the water, and everything's wonderful. You go into Eretz Yisrael, you continue. There's no real lechem in Eretz. There's no real work. There's no hika. There's no struggle. Everything in life, Torah, everything is memayla lamata, just daytime. Moshe Rabbeinu wants to do that. But there's a tremendous enjoyment that Hashem has from the left side, from the Yegiyah, from the struggle, from the darkness, from the Adam Reitz V'Kav Shaloi, from the Hikas Hasela. A teitze tipen, it goes little bit, Vishkisa Seider Vesbira, to quench your thirst is only possible. Moshe can never quench his thirst. Moshe never misses anything. Moshe is never thirsty. He's not tzomei. Tzomei lachon nafshi doesn't exist by Moshe. It only exists by Yeshua. It only exists in a generation where there's no revelation of godliness. Moshe, the bear of Miriam, everything came back. Miriam died Yud Nisan, Yud Aleph Nisan. Moshe hits the rock. Gimmel Tammuz, Tafshin Gimmel, Tafshin Dalet, and Dayoim Yoim. He never changed, the Rebbe never changed the calendar. It was the day Moshe hit the rock and he can't go into Eretz Yisrael. The Rebbe took the Nesias more than 40 years earlier. Same 40 years that he talked about all the time that were a Gilgal of the Dor Midbar. He took the Nesias In the time of Moshe taking the Jews out of Mitzrayim, Yud Shvat, Ve'eda Boy B'Shalach, and Gimmel Tammuz Tavshin and Dalet. It was right after the clock went into Parshas Chukas, which is Chukach HaKakti Le'en Chodesh Ozlarach, which is Paraduma, which Moshe, when he hit the rock, he chose not to go into the land because the Oyev Yisrael Oyev, because the world, the rest of the world they weren't on his level. And that was the biggest Mesiras Nefesh, because Moshe Rabbeinu was not Koirach. Koirach wanted Gdula for himself. Moshe felt all the time inferior because he said, with everything that I had, what did I ever accomplish in life? Who's going to remember me? How am I significant? When he heard Halach LaMoshe Messina by Rabbi Akiva, he said, look at Rabbi Akiva, this man gave his life. He was born Am Ha'aretz, and he became a Talmid Chacham. He was born an Am Ha'aretz, and he became a Tzaddik. He was born Am Ha'aretz, and Kula Libet Rabbi Akiva. But me, what's going to be from me? And for his whole life, he devotes his whole life, all the time, to giving to everyone else. Do you understand the humility, the honor mikol adam that he had? Was all the time running around where he can give more, because only over there did he see significance. Yes, he felt inferior. Koirach inferior because he wanted Gedula. Moshe inferior because he has so much. And why am I? And what I can do? What can I do with it? But the ani bedas, all this wealth for one person. It only means something when I share it with other person. Imagine you understand Gimmel Tammuz in its completion, which is that you look at all areas of wealth in your life. You take responsibility for the poor people around you. Not just a real responsibility, but a humility of honor mikol adam, a humility of merirus. You say, why do they have to suffer? Why do I have the light and they have the darkness? Why are they the nighttime and I'm the daytime? And should the daytime just be selfish? Or should the daytime wake up in the nighttime a light that's unknown? And that was Moshe hitting the rock. He hit the rock because he said deep within, deep within these people lies a deeper truth. When they're going to take b'koyach atzmam, with their own work, is light, is a gift. Is that the purpose of life? Just to be daytime superficial, or to work through your issues, to look at your past and your marriage? Is everything to be static, like an idol, everything should be superficial, perfect? We're born in a blissful marriage. We're born with all the money, born with everything your heart could desire. Or is it to work through the issues, to turn your nighttime into daytime? And that was Moshe Rabbeinu's quest, to turn the nighttime into day. He didn't want just his light, because he didn't create anything. To create means to create the light through the darkness, to transform the darkness into light. That's real creativity. And that's what Moshe did his whole life. So you see the fundamental difference between Moshe and Koirach. Koirach was from a space of darkness, and he just wanted to be king. He just wanted all the money for himself. And Moshe wanted all the money to give it to somebody else. He couldn't understand why he had all that money. Not only physical money, that he was a oisher, but spiritual money. Why do I have all this light? Did I ever really do anything in my life? Did I ever really make any change? All of the complaints of Moshe Rabbeinu, it seems like complaints. All of the inferiority is, I want to make a real change. And I can only make a change if I take my student and I make him the teacher. If I take the people who are around me and I show them the way, I light the candle, but not by lighting them, but by giving them the match that they can do it on their own, by showing them they really possess within them. So when Moshe hits the rock, he's Moshe Nefesh, the ultimate level of Moshe Nefesh, because had he gone into Eretz Yisrael, Mashiach, the revelation would have happened, but it would have happened Ma'ila Lamata. It would have happened like Kriyas Yamsa. But mitzademata, v'rokal basar, kalatz moisei tamarna, a radical, deep, transformational change internally would have never happened. And for that, Moshe Rabbeinu said, even he himself, and later on, when he comes Veschanan, he tries to get Hashem to say, change the nature of the world. Make the nature should be Veschanan. He's asking for something else. He's saying, what do we need to suffer for? Make us experience the light without suffering. Make us experience the daytime through the nighttime. You're God, you could do it. And God said, Rav lecha al toisef taber alai. Ma rav tufcha, it's the same words. Rav lecha al toisef taber. You want me to switch my creation. You want to understand paraduma. You want to understand the secret of struggle. You want to understand the secret of pain. Rav tufcha, it's going to be better for you. Rav lecha al toisef taber alai. And that is the secret of Shabbos Nachamu, of always after the 3 weeks, where it's always Veschanan, because we know from Hashem. Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, I will take responsibility. Because Moshe really didn't want this life. He wanted a life where this, whatever we're experiencing through struggle, whatever we're experiencing through internalization, whatever we're experiencing through being broken people, Moshe wanted we should get that without having to be broken. But Hashem told him, I take responsibility. It's going to be better for you. And that's why always comes back Shabbos Nachamu and Parshas Veschanan, because God says, we wait for God to be Menachem us. But this is the lesson of Gimmel Tammuz, the tremendous lesson from Chukas till Nachamu is always that period, the period that reflects our general period right now, which is, yes, Moshe could have brought us into the Gula. The Rebbe could have brought it Mamayel Lamata. But we still have to work through our own issues, our own marriages, our own struggles, our own imperfections. We have to, it's going to be a marriage that's born through that struggle. It's a love for each other that's born through nighttime, not through daytime, not because it's perfect. But it's ultimately that type of revelation. Even Moshe Rabbeinu says, I'm looking for real creativity, and in my Talmidim I will find creativity. I have just the light. And I'm Onav Mikol Adam. Moshe's Onav Mikol Adam because he says, what did I ever do for it? But if I could give it to somebody who doesn't have it. That's why when Rabbi Akiva, when he heard Rabbi Akiva say, Halacha Moshe B'Sinai, he had met his purpose, because Halacha Moshe B'Sinai. He was Moshe, he was the light. But I gave that to Rabbi Akiva, that creativity. Rabbi Akiva was transformed, even though he grew up empty. But Rabbi Akiva became to my level. What does it mean? We think Moshe, Nacha died, he fell down, he didn't feel good. He felt inferior like Koirach. No, he felt that he didn't meet his mission because it was a matnas chinam, it was given to me by God. But when he saw Rabbi Akiva, even the great Rabbi Akiva, who created his life from nothing, I'm a Talmud of Moshe Rabbeinu. I'm because of the koyach of Moshe. That was the nechama of Moshe Rabbeinu. You understand the radical change. Understand, you're learning hundreds of midrash on Moshe Rabbeinu. You think he's inferior. Now this is the lesson that we must have as parents, as spouses, as people with money, people with intelligence, to look at the people around you and say, whatever I have, if I was given it, even if I worked for it on some level, it's already mine, it's already daytime. How am I going to give to the nighttime? As long as there's another aching soul in any area, I can't worry about my aches, I can't worry about my darkness, because I have to share with somebody else, to empower them with the knowledge, to allow them, because the purpose is the lirech, the purpose is the skalus, the purpose is that Moshe and his doir, they all become one, till the door becomes like Moshe. And that is the tremendous lesson, what he wants to share with this letter. This inter-inclusion all the time, to be in a space of inferior, but not because you feel like you don't matter, but because whatever you have, why am I not sharing it fast enough and deep enough with people around me? That is the real lesson. That is the real creativity. And it is in that space that every moment matters, that every moment is about giving and receiving at the same time. This is the tremendous revelation that allows us to see the clarity of the purpose of the life.